Hello, this is ArcDev, and today I want to demo and show you what we've been working on with the MetaFab developers dashboard. This is something we've been working on, I think, since December now. This has been a big request from both a lot of the indie developers using MetaFab as well as the studios using MetaFab. One of the pain points we found is that we chose from the beginning to be kind of API and SDK first from our development roadmap. And this works really well from like an implementation standpoint in that we put so much focus on making really streamlined, well-built implementations for developers to consume. But the setup and configuration prior to the implementation, that means things like launching my items or like configuring my initial items for my games or launching my game currencies or launching shops or loot boxes or any of my player systems or even managing those things. Because we're API and SDK first, we didn't have like a graphical user interface to do all of that. And so you had to use the APIs directly and like parse through raw data and all these different things in order to just see what was going on with your game. Obviously not ideal, and you as a developer, even I, for example, you as a developer are going to want probably a graphical user interface. And even I, for example, for services like Amazon Web Services, while I use their APIs a lot for different systems, I still love being able to go into the Amazon developer dashboard and seeing like a visual representation of like my EC2 instances and other different things that I use. So for this demo, we're going to go through and see what you can do with the MetaFab developers dashboard. It's not 100% done yet, but it's done enough where we can show you the meat and potatoes and you can get an idea of how powerful this is. And yeah, I've created an initial account already, and I had some testing part of this video just to make sure that the latest version we have deployed is the right one. And we're gonna get into it. All right. Okay, so I created this initial game. I just called it Elysium. When you get into your developer dashboard for the first time, you're going to see a few things. You have your game. My game's name is Elysium. I think I just said that. You have a few things. You have your game's publish key, secret key, and vault decrypt key. These are just values that you'll use across different implementations when using the MetaFab APIs, and it's just convenient to be able to copy them right from your dashboard. Over here, you have two wallets attached to your game. You see a primary wallet and a funding wallet. You can copy the addresses as you'd expect by just clicking these things. And you can also see the token balance for any of the supported chains that MetaFab currently supports. For example, let's say I'm developing primarily on Arbitrum. Arbitrum ETH, symbol is ETH. I can see my token balance there. Maybe I'm developing on Avalanche. Or no, not Avalanche. Let's do Thundercore. Okay, I don't think we've implemented Avalanche and Thundercore 100% yet on the dashboard. Like I said, it's not 100% complete. But we can do Gorley, Matic, Mumbai. We'll just stick with Matic right now. Anyways, you can toggle through the different balances for the chains you use. See primary and funding wallet. I won't get into the details of those two types of wallets attached to every game, but if you dig into MetaFab APIs, you can see. What we're going to do in this demo is deploy a game currency or maybe currencies, depending how we want to set up our game. Going to launch some items, create some on-chain shop systems, some loot boxes, and configure players, and maybe go beyond that. Just kind of depends how long this video gets by the time we get through this. I just want to show really how quickly you can set this stuff up and get your game really up and going and just start building right away using the dashboard. So let's go into our currencies. I have a test currency prior to this video that I have here, but we'll create a new one. We'll call this Elysium. Maybe we'll call our game currency Elysium Gems and just E-Gems maybe is our symbol. We're going to deploy it to the Matic blockchain. You can see all the different chains that maybe you want to deploy to here. For this, we're just choosing Matic. Supply is the maximum amount that can ever exist. We'll just let's do a billion gems. Yeah. And then I'll hit create currency. When I hit create currency, what this is doing is all these systems in our dashboard interact with the same public API endpoints that you can use right through the MetaFab APIs. But what that is doing is it's deploying my game currency to the Matic chain, which I selected, eGems, and the delay is just waiting for their transaction to confirm. I can even go in here, do different things with the currency once it's live, including minting some of it, like if I want to send some currency to an address or a specific username in our game or something like that. But we can just make sure that it's been deployed by going to Block Explorer. Block Explorer can take anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes typically to update. I've noticed the polygon scan's been slow lately, so we can just come back to it, but you can just trust that the currency is deployed to this address and our system's live. Next thing is we have our game currency. It's Elysium gems. We may want to create some items for our game. I have these 2 test collections that I deployed earlier, but we're just going to create a new one, and maybe we'll call it Elysium Artifacts or something like that. And we're going to deploy it to the Matic blockchain. So this will create an ERC 1155 collection using the MetaFab standards, deploy it to the Matic chain. It inherits from ERC 1155, so you can have these contracts on these on OpenSea or any marketplace, and they work just the same as anything else. So go ahead and create it. It takes a second for just to deploy to the chain. Got to wait for confirmation. Okay, Elysium Artifacts is deployed. We can copy our contract address. I don't think we added the Block Explorer link there yet, but we will. And again, this will take a second to update. Yeah, so you can see the currency deployed, and once the Block Explorer refreshes in a little bit, you'll see that our items collection is deployed there. So now let's go into our items collection for our Elysium Artifacts, and let's create our first item. So you can create all of the items right from the dashboard for your game and manage them and do all sorts of fun stuff. So I have some example images we can use to start. You can set all the different attributes, data, random different things. All of this ties back to the on-chain metadata that is standardized, and just like the NFT or the metadata format. So we'll create a first item. Let's pick an image first. I have a bunch of these items in here. These are just random icons. They're not the highest quality, but I don't know. Let's just make a greatsword. Item ID 1. We'll call it the greatsword, and it's a really great sword. The external URL. This is again metadata standards. Attributes, these are the things like when you go on OpenSea and you see the different attributes for an NFT or a collection item. These are the exact same things that show there. So maybe I'll do something like this is an item from Season 1 of our Elysium game. And then I can attach arbitrary data as well to the item object that's going to get created that maybe my game's implementation would need to use. So this could be things like maybe somewhere on AWS or in IPFS, I have like a 3D model file that is sourced and referred to in order to load this item like within the game. And I could just be like model URI and then set the whatever, a model URI here, and then however I implement this, it could consume it. You can do all sorts of things. It's just arbitrary fields for you to use however you want. Let's create this first item. We're going to create like 2 or 3 items so that we can showcase a few other systems after this. And then, yeah, that should be good. Okay. I think it's saved. This is, again, not 100% polished yet. So as I'm going through this, you're seeing it with me in use. Yeah, okay. That did save. We have a greatsword. Let's go ahead and add another item. Let's, I don't know, make a treasure chest. Item ID 2. Mysterious. and save. So when I hit save and continue, what this is doing and why it takes a second is it's writing, it's submitting a transaction to the item collection contract to set a new item type on the contract for whatever item ID I assign. So this means that it in the background is uploading all your item data to IPFS in the standardized format. It's setting the IPFS hash of the correct item ID on the collection. It's verifying it, and then it's making sure the transaction goes through and everything like that. So it's all on chain. Let's make a potion. Call item ID 3. Healing potion. Heals health, and maybe just like something like this. Heals 50 HP. Submit, save. Wait for the transaction to go through. I think this is probably a little bug we need to fix, but I think it does go through. I'm just wondering why it's not redirecting. Yeah, it does go through, but the redirect is not working. Right. Live QA, live quality assurance testing. And also, again, I said this isn't live yet, so. Okay, let's make... I want a few more item types just because I want to showcase loot boxes and shops. Let's do... I don't know, magic scroll. Or a blizzard scroll. One-time use. Save it. Okay, we have our blizzard scroll, and the last thing, maybe let's do a key. 5, I think. If you put in an item ID that already exists and you attempt to save it, it'll tell you that you're overriding an existing item, and are you sure you want to do that? So yeah, but you can set any arbitrary ID that you want. For example, like if you want to group all your keys 5,000 plus, if you want to group all your swords 1,000 plus, yeah, you can do that however you'd like. Treasure key. A enchanted key to open a treasure chest. Ooh, so cool. Okay, save this one. Alright, it's saved, but again, that strange bug, it's not redirecting them back. So, okay, we have our 5 items. We have our greatsword, our healing potion, our blizzard scroll, and our treasure key. You can see a bunch of different stuff here. The supply, that's how many exist currently, the description, name, yada yada. We can go in here, we can mint some of these to any valid recipient. That can be both a username of a player within our game or a random Ethereum address, EVM compatible address, and as well as how many you want to mint. Not going to do that right now. You can also go in and all of these items are mutable, so even though they're on IPFS and yes, they are set on chain, it's by default they're mutable for the sake of being able to edit these things as a game developer. That is more often not the most common case we've seen, but there are ways to configure these to be immutable. So depending on what you need, you can pick and choose, but by default they're mutable, so I can go ahead and edit this. And yeah, oh yeah, you can see IPFS URL, this stuff's set to, and all that fun stuff too. But yeah, we don't need to edit anything. Oh, another cool thing, this down here on any of the sections, whether you're doing any of these systems, there's always going to be like these helpful outbound links to our docs. So like if you've just built this item system and you want to figure out like what API endpoints can I implement into my game to use these different item systems like relative to the players, like maybe maybe I want to use like the transfer mechanisms of items, which are also an on-chain thing, in order to create trading systems that aren't like MetaFab's defaults. Or maybe I need to get the entire inventory of a player. So knowing like what are all the items from my collection that a player has at least one of, and I can do that in a single API call rather than having to iterate through on-chain each individual item ID for a given address, which is a huge pain in the ass. Yeah, you can do all these different operations and you can mix and match them, plug and play them however you want for the different functionality you need. It's all on chain. Most everything where it's necessary is atomic, so you don't have to worry about like weird states between player interactions and stuff like that. And yeah, we we do all the heavy lifting for you. But yeah, okay, so our items are made. Let's make a shop because we want to use our game currency to buy items, and maybe we want to sell items back to the shop that we get in game. Actually, let me create one more item because I think this is something cool I can demonstrate too. Is there like a skull or like a something interesting I could use here? Okay, maybe let's see. None of these are that great for what I want to demonstrate. Okay, let's do something like this. Maybe we'll set a random ID. We'll call it like a slain warrior helm. And a memento of a fallen foe. So maybe like in the game as you defeat different enemies, you get these helms or something like that. Like it seems like an interesting common mechanic. Like enemies drop kind of random loot that you might want to sell back to a merchant. So, all right, it's saved. Again, the redirect issues, we'll figure that out later. Okay, so we have our Slain Warrior helmet. So next system, now that we have items and game currencies that I want to showcase, are shops. So shops allow you to do things like, I mean, they're shops and they're all on chain. So if you want to enable systems where your players can pay a fixed amount of any ERC20 or your game currency or the native chain token, whether it be ETH or Matic or whatever, they can do that to buy your NFTs. They can do that to buy game currency or swap at a fixed rate to other ERC20s. Pretty much any type of one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many type exchanges between ERC20 and ERC1155 assets, shops can do, all on chain. And that gives you all the flexibility to make different types of interactions that you might want to make. So you only need to make one shop typically. Like you'll probably have a live like production environment shop and like a test environment shop, but those will probably both be on different chains. So like my test one might be on Matic Mumbai, which is the Polygon testnet chain. My live one might be on the mainnet Matic chain, but we're just going to deploy one for this demo, and it's going to go to the Polygon blockchain where everything else is. So we made our shop. We can verify that it's on chain and been deployed. And again, Block Explorer is slow. Also, for example, here's our item contract that we deployed and we were messing with. And you can see all the API calls that result in transactions when we were setting our different collection items. So yeah, all that's happening for you behind the scenes. Before actually I go into shops, we can go to OpenSea real quick and see our collection live and even edit it and do all the stuff we might want to do with it. My OpenSea's broken for me. One sec. Sorry, it's being slow. So I'll just paste my contract address in here, give OpenSea, broken C, a second to find it. I can just do this actually. All right, there we go. Wait, did I copy the right hooks? Okay. Let me. Let's see. Let me just. This should work. I think it's because I'm not on the Polygon chain for OpenSea. I'm just finding a random collection that pops in mine and just gonna paste the URL structure here. Huh, okay. Well, maybe OpenSea hasn't propagated or the collection isn't live yet, but yeah, collections are fully compatible with OpenSea. Or I think I have to import the contract address, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, let's go back to shops. So rewind back to shops. So with shops, you create different offers, and offers are your way to make like items to currencies, currencies to items, or combinations of the two to different things that your players can redeem, and you can build those systems and implement them in game. So the interface is pretty cool. Just like items, you can set any arbitrary ID for each unique offer type. So like offer 100, offer 1, offer 5, offer 4, 5 bajillion, mazillion, whatever number you want to do. I'm going to set the first thing here. I can do the input, which is, ignore this tooltip, it's not done. The number of this currency that you need, and the output, this is what you get. You get for 10 gold, we'll give you, for 10 Elysium gems, you will get 1 Great Sword, ID 1, and quantity 1. And this is going to write the offer type to the contract for the shop. We can again view this. Yeah, we can view this on chain. The set offer will be here as soon as the transaction propagates. But yeah, here's our offer shop. Our shop's contract. Make another offer, maybe for. Actually, you know what? How about no items? Let's say if you give the shop a Slain Warrior Helm for 1, it will give you 5 Elysium gems. So you can do things like that too. So, yeah. So all those foes you slay, you get gems, which you can then use in turn to buy different things, trade with players, whatever you might want to do. The next piece, let's do let's see, let's do 50 e-gems gives you that's input. 50 e-gems gives you 1 treasure chest. And how about it also gives you the key too? Why not? You get 1 key and a treasure chest. And it's going to write that to the contract. Again, the submission time is dependent on how long it takes for the transaction to reach its initial amount of confirmations for finality. Last thing I can do, which is interesting, but I'm not going to save this one, but I just want to show you, is you can make it so that it requires, let's say you want to make like a crafting mechanic. I haven't made like any items that like logically make sense to mix together to craft something, but I'm just showing that you can take any number of items, including currencies combined with that too. So maybe you need like money plus items, and you can make it spit out different things. Like you can make it spit out like different sets of items, different quantities, different combinations of items, or maybe a different ERC20 token, all those things. And then I'm not going to save this one, like I said, but once you've had your different shop offers built, you can implement them right into your game, just using the shop system APIs, which are here. You have the ability to use shop offers as players, and all of this lets you build these frictionless systems that are all on chain, but your players never really have to know that there are the pain points of blockchain, because there aren't pain points of blockchain with MetaFab. Yeah, so made those offers. Last system, make loot boxes. So loot boxes are fun. I'll deploy what's called a loot box manager. So it's kind of like the wrapper contract around your different loot box types. Deploy it to Matic as well. So my Elysium boxes, I can go in here and create different loot box types. And then, so loot box, defining loot boxes is kind of similar to shop offers. So there's like a set number of inputs which get burned when a player like opens this loot box. So maybe a player needs to burn both a treasure chest and our treasure key, one of each. And in exchange, they get the possibility of, of different types of items. And we can set the weights of the outputs as well. So yeah, let's say there's four possible item types they might get. Maybe they'll get 1 greatsword, maybe they'll get 5 blizzard scrolls, maybe they'll get 10 slain warrior helmets, or maybe 2 healing potions. So these are each of the unique like types of outputs. You can set it so that your loot boxes will roll an output however many times. By default it's 1. And what I mean by roll is when it's randomly selecting like which of these 4 possibilities you get. If you have it set to 1, it's only going to give you a possibility 1 time. If you have it 2, then you have it's basically like rolling the dice twice, and each time you get something relative to whatever the randomness works out to be from these item possibilities. So if I have 2, maybe I'll get like a greatsword and like 10 slain warrior helms for my loot box. Or maybe I'll get 2 greatswords, depending on how the odds stack up. And then the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is you can set the weights of how frequently your different items occur. So maybe I want my greatsword to have a weight of 1, my blizzard scroll to have a weight of 5, slain warrior helmet to have a weight of 10, and my potion to have a weight of oh, that's a bug. Okay, this is, yeah, it's changing the quantity selector. We'll fix that. But anyways, it will write it to chain as it should. So the way weights work is that the higher the weight relative to all the other total weights, the more likely it is that you're going to get that item. So the sum of all these weights is 20, plus 10 is 30, plus 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. So I have a 1 out of 36 chance of getting a greatsword. I have a 5 out of 36 chance of getting a blizzard scroll. I have a 10 out of 36 chance of getting this, and a 20 out of 36 chance of getting that. And that's how loot boxes work. And they're all on chain. They're all fully random, and they're pretty cool. I'll save it. This is gonna write the loot box type to my loot boxes contract. So that means that any wallet, if it were to attempt to open a loot box, if they had the required input items, that treasure chest and that key, they have the possibility of getting one of these output items. If ever I need to go in and like tweak my loot boxes or change my weights or like add or remove items, I can go in and do that. And that's how loot boxes work. And just like with all the systems that we have, you can come in and see the API docs on how to like implement it right into your game. Or maybe like you don't want to use the direct API and you want like your Unity SDK, and like you can come in here and get the Unity SDK too. So yeah, we have full SDKs for pretty much everything. Let's see, last system, I'll just create a player. So you can manually create your players in here if you want, but by default you're probably going to make a registration flow for your game. But for testing it's pretty useful. Just a username, password. You can write like arbitrary data values to your players and retrieve them at any time. So this is very basic key value pair writing to each individual player. It might be things you want to save like settings, stuff that's not on chain or not sensitive, whatever you want to write for them. Save it. I could look at my player and I can see like what their default wallet is. If they're like you may have situations where their active wallet and their custodial wallet are differentiating. Like they may have their externally owned EOA wallet as their active wallet, and their custodial wallet is always their custodial wallet. But yeah, you can come in and do a lot of cool stuff, reset their access token, whatever you may need to do. And again, like all the different systems, there's outbound links to the API docs, some setting stuff that is not really relevant for this guide, or sorry, for this demo. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. Search bar, not fully implemented yet, but you'll be able to search through like things like your players, your items, quick search, quick find, stuff like that. That's helpful. This sidebar over here is going to change to where it updates with video tutorials that we have. So based on the section you're on and what you're doing, it will present like the relevant video tutorials for you as a developer, just to kind of quick start what you need, what you're doing. And then yeah, we have some helpful links here, support, developer Discord, all that. Yeah, so it's pretty much all the tooling you need to, I mean, you did this in 30 minutes with me talking to set up pretty much the configured systems on chain for an entire game, like just the boilerplate basics. And then, yeah, just from that, I've shown like how to use these different table stake systems that most games are going to have some variant of, and how to do it on chain. And yeah, all the tools are there, and we're really excited about this. I think it's going to really open up a lot of opportunity for developers to quickly build games on top of blockchain that may have otherwise been intimidating, either by having to understand like how does this work, or like yeah, any of the other pain points that are a big turnoff with building on top of blockchain. But I've talked enough. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm really excited for when this launches.